Musicality Mondays, Litty Mondays, Litty Mondays. With Jazicality Mondays, Litty Mondays, Litty Mondays. I know you were looking for something, maybe you'll find it right here, baby.
A Make Your Own Trophy Records production. Welcome back to Musicality Mondays. I'm your host, Jazicality. Thank you so much if you're watching on the podcast platforms or if you're right here on the YouTube channel. Today, we have a very special guest. But before we get into that guest, I just want to let you know Jazicality has a couple things coming up. So make sure that you go to jazicality.com to look at what shows we have, what merch we have, and let's get back into the show. Today, we have... He is a frontman, a guitarist, a drummer, piano player, and just a great human being. Super funny. We have Noah Bauer.
Yo, thank you so much for having me. It's such an honor, and I just really appreciate all the work you're doing, highlighting some of the other musicians that you've had on your show. It's super humbling to even be on the same channel as those folks and to be on this platform with you, so I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. That's so sweet.
Yeah, of course.
Happy to have you on the show.
Yeah. What have you been up to? What are you working on musically right now?
I'm writing an EP with my band, Jazicality. Yeah.
That sounds like a lot of work. What part of the process are y'all in right now?
We're actually, that's so interesting that you asked. Thank you that's so sweet. We have 5 new songs, I think. And so we're in the recording process for shows. So we're not in the real recording process, but we're demoing out.
Cool. So is there a part of the process that you look forward to the most? For me, I love tracking vocals. I feel like tracking vocals are when I can really dial in and get into the music But is there a part of the recording process or the creation process for making an EP that you really look forward to?
That's a good question. Today, this is Noahicality. No, I'm kidding. I would say I really do enjoy also the vocal aspect of it, because I like specifically layering harmonies on there makes me so happy, because I just made this really cool harmony on our song Lost that's unreleased or whatever, and I call Sam, he's my fiance too, into the room, and I'm just like, dude, you gotta check this out. Yeah. And then he's just like, I should have recorded it. I should always be recording, I swear, ever since I was a kid, whatever. And he's just like, oh my gosh. So I'm really excited for people to hear that too. So I guess, the making the vocals too.
Well, I'd like to think our partners are very lucky to be able to hear, these products in their rawest, purest form. I live with my partner Gabby, and I get nervous sometimes, that I'm I'm being bothersome. I don't want to take up too much space recording, but I gotta rid myself of that idea, because that's entirely self-imposed, and I know. Getting to share those things with people that you care about is maybe one of the best parts about being an artist, I think.
I think so too.
Yeah. It's
an otherworldly experience, you know? Yeah.
It is. But I think that feeling for the harmonies especially, it's so immediate. Sometimes when you're making a song, it can feel like it takes months, and you don't even really get to see a direct not all the time, but sometimes you don't really get to see a direct A and B of oh, this is what it sounds like here, this is what it sounds like there. But with harmonies, you can pretty much tell immediately whether or not you're gonna keep them.
True, very true. I love that take on that. Very cool.
Yeah.
I was watching your performance on Radio K, and I wanted to ask you, I think I know the answer, but I wanted to ask you, when you were performing, did you guys have tracks that you were playing with, or did you have a pedal that you plugged in and that got notes from your guitar that you were playing with?
Definitely the pedal.
Okay.
I love keeping things as live as possible. I am not at all against folks that utilize the backtrack. I think it's impressive as heck if you can really rock with a backing track, playing over speakers and with the click, and that's a skill that I think everybody should have in their back pocket, to
For
be
sure.
able to
Absolutely.
do that. But I love and most of my training is within like jazz music and salsa music, where that's not
Wow.
really a thing.
Oh,
So
okay.
you want to be able to change tempo,
Yeah.
right? Like you want to be able to change like how the groove feels. And for that Radio K performance, I used a vocal pedal that my dear friend Caleb Bowren set up for me, and I will always want to give credit where credit is due, because
Shout out.
shout out Caleb Bowren, who has really shown me most of like the technical aspects, not only of like recording, but also of like how to incorporate some of those live performance ideas with like new types of tech. Like he just installed like a MIDI receiver on a guitar, and what else? Like just always finding stuff on Facebook Marketplace to like experiment with. And that's been huge, like to have somebody that is like excited about like the technical side of things.
Yeah.
Like I just am not that person. Like, like that is not me. So yeah, I'm so blessed. Shout out Caleb.
Shout out.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Yeah, it's fun to nerd out with someone too. Just be like, oh, you get it, dude. Let's do this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm glad that you have that, you know?
Mm-hmm. Totally.
So I was looking in my research files, and I found that that you have or had also a band called Linda.
So close. So close.
No, Lida.
Lida or Lee. I mean, either way, it doesn't really matter. Like it was. No, it isn't. It is totally fine.
So Lida. So
yeah.
Lida.
Lida. Either way, you can pronounce it. You can spell it however you want. It doesn't matter. But yeah, I'm really proud of that catalog of songs. I started that band alongside some other friends at a school in Chicago. I know you're a Chicago native, right?
It's true. How did you know that?
I saw it in one of the shows.
That's cool.
But yeah, it was a small school in Albany Park on the north side of the city.
Okay.
Right, it's actually on the last stop of the Brown Line.
Okay.
A small school called North Park University. I got a full ride to attend.
Sorry about my stomach. I knew that you were going to say something because you're so goofy. I knew it. But I'm happy because like I get so embarrassed. I'm just like, shut up.
I didn't even notice your stomach.
Wait, what did you notice?
Nothing. I was just being silly.
Oh my God. I'm taking water. Continue.
Okay. Yeah, it was really fun though. Like this interview and like, it was really rewarding. And I met up with all of these other musicians, not even necessarily in the music department. They were all just like friends that I had made while studying. And we started playing shows around the Chicago area and then sort of started expanding out a little bit more. We got to play at the Sears Tower or Willis Tower.
Really?
Yeah, on the top floor for somebody's wedding. They hired us like as a band because they were like, "Yo, man, like your music is great. Like it meant a lot to us, and like we would love to have you like be a part of the service." And I was like, "Oh!" And it was it was like a dinner. It wasn't like their actual wedding, but yeah, that was a very surreal moment. And it still happens. Like we haven't released a song from that group in well over 2 years.
Okay.
But like just randomly like on the Spotify, like folks still really love those songs and want to listen, and so I feel encouraged by that. It's a reminder to me that like just because in the moment whatever you're imagining your dream to be, if you feel like frustrated that you're not where you like want to be, it's really such a matter of perspective. Like that was exactly the thing that I needed to do like at that time, and all of those songs still exist and like people can still listen to them. And I think we have a really like all or nothing kind of like mentality in capitalism. That's like either you're a band or you're dead,
No, that's so true.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say like what you're saying right now is very special to me personally, so thank you for saying that, and I know that the viewers will like appreciate it as well.
Oh, thank you. What has been your experience with like that sort of people who really struggle with finding that gray area in between, or not always kind of working in the absolutes of like, I mean, it could be in many different types of art or in many different arenas within the art world. Let's talk about mastering for a second.
Okay.
Let's talk about it, because it's expensive
Yeah.
to pay someone else to master your work.
Mm-hmm.
I also think that it can feel very daunting to learn how to master.
Yes.
I don't feel like I'm a master at mastering at all. What is your approach for do you master like?
No, I outsource.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have a couple of different people that I know can do it. I've had different people do it in the past, but I've had producers who are friends that I pay
Yeah.
do it. So
Well, I love that, and like I want to keep the money flowing to all of our friends, but sometimes the budget is tight, and you want to release
real.
the song.
That's real.
We got to find somebody out there. Here, if you're looking to teach affordable mastering classes,
Yeah,
you know who to find.
me,
Both
not
of us.
not Noah. No, I'm kidding.
No.
Give it to me.
She's trying to take my lead.
I'm kidding. I'm just like this commercial is actually sponsored by me and it's for me. No, I'm kidding. That'd be so funny. But no, that's a good idea because we all deserve. Well, I don't think that you're in for it for the money, but like if I could get money.
I mean, it's not necessarily about the money. Obviously, like if
It's for you, yeah.
if we could do this art with and not be paid for it, obviously we all would do that.
Yeah.
And all of us, to some extent, are doing that every day.
Every day.
But I want to try to be as self-sufficient as possible.
I think that's really good.
Like, I want to be able to, from the moment I think of the song to the moment that the other person listens to the song, I want to be able to say that I like fingerprinted all of it, which you're still doing if you're paying for it, but I just like want to do it.
Well, that brings up a question. I mean, it's technically on a different subject, but what do you think about collabing with people? Musically. Okay.
I love collabing with people. I love collaborating with people so much. So if you would like to collaborate, just let me know. Hit me up on Instagram or email me at noahjohn10@gmail.com. Okay, to answer your question more thoughtfully, I love collaboration. I particularly love collaboration in improvisation. Like,
ooh, okay.
I love when there is an established, maybe like a form or some kind of like guiding objective, and then the space to allow people to experiment.
Okay.
What about you?
Oh, I love it. Yeah. If you watch the first episode of Musicality Mondays season 3, you're gonna see that I used to like not want to collaborate with people because I'm like, I can sing all the parts or whatever. But then I realized that collaborating is really important, and it can make you see different parts of music that you might not have seen before. So I think it's very important, and I think it's really cool.
Yes. I think what you just reminded me of is like really on brand. Stay with me here. With the movie Whiplash.
Oh my god, I love that movie.
Whiplash.
Oh my god. Whip.
Whiplash.
Whipped cream.
There's the classic YouTuber bassist Adam Neely.
Yes.
He did an analysis of that movie that I thought was very apt, where he described, one of the biggest things missing from this young man's evolution as a drummer was that he didn't really play with anybody. Like, he spent a lot of time in the practice room, like, nailing out those rudiments and, like, playing really fast. And that, like, if he just played as fast as humanly possible, eventually he would just, like, ascend.
Into
space. And I felt that way sometimes, and if it's not chasing speed in playing, it's, like, chasing it in any other thing. But, yeah, collaboration is important to musical growth.
It really is. And that it also speaks to like when you probably like get jealous of someone because of how they sound at that moment, or like how well they practice that song. And I don't know, I get in my head a lot about that kind of stuff, and I kind of like try to bring myself back, like, no man, like you should work with them instead of being like, man, I wish I sounded like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I totally agree, and think that's one of the most important things of being like a musician as an adult.
Yeah.
Is like, man, like, so much of music happens off the stage, happens away from your instrument, and like
That's true.
really finding that it sounds cliche, but that sort of love and acceptance for yourself, so that you can appreciate the beauty in all all the other folks that are making incredible music. So yeah.
My eye was twitching, and I didn't want you to think I was a freak.
Oh no, I thought you were fake crying with me.
No.
Oh, okay.
And I knew that you didn't think that I was doing it. My eyes been twitching for days because I'm so tired.
Oh, no.
I'm fine. Like, I'm fine. But, like, whenever I get tired, my
Yeah.
eye starts to twitch. And I thought no one could see it. But people have been noticing. And,
Which
like,
eye?
this one.
The right eye. I saw the last one. I'll sound
No,
I saw
I
the last one. Well, I hope you're able to
Damn.
get some sleep.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I just honestly keep choosing music. I just keep staying up till 1 a.m. trying to get this stuff done.
Well, when you're working a full-time job and then you
Yeah.
have to go home and then record and then also take care of your loved ones and eat dinner.
No, it's fair. That's so. Yep, that's exactly what's happening. What's your experience with the day job / chasing your dreams aspect of life?
It's exhausting, and I think it's inherently a self-destroying prophecy or practice. Yeah, I someday I'll find a good balance for it, but like,
Yeah.
we actually are not far away from where I started my career.
Really?
Yes.
What is it?
I started my career at the state capitol.
Really? What do
I-
you mean by that? I'm sorry.
No, it's
Like,
funny.
what do you mean by that?
No, it's true. It's an interesting thing to start.
Yeah.
Yeah, I I did like all the classic labor, high school jobs. Before this, I worked as a construction worker. Actually, I helped like one of my last jobs as a construction worker was over here on the Rondo Monument.
Ooh.
There's like a big monument with a bunch of gravel and like a storyboard of like the destruction of the Rondo community. And yeah, it's a really cool monument. And that was one of the last pieces of construction that I worked on. It was like, so if you look at all the gravel in there, I guess it's more landscaping. If you look at all the gravel in there, that was me as a 17 and 18-year-old.
Wow.
But in between my freshman and sophomore year of college, I was at home unexpectedly because of COVID.
Oh, okay.
And I've always felt like after I graduated that I wanted to do some kind of like service-oriented job. I don't know if, I personally wouldn't make a very good firefighter or paramedic. Like, that's a lot of hours and
Yeah.
it's hard, people do it. Like my friend Caleb that we were talking about, he's a nurse. And so he's really able to balance all of that. But, I knew
Shout out.
Shout out. I knew I wanted to do a service-oriented job, and given my skills as like I was a graduate with a history degree, so
Okay.
like
Wow.
document analysis and like the idea of appreciation for larger historical trends have always been important to me. And my mom is a teacher at St. Paul Central and a longtime union organizer as well, so I've always felt like service was in my future. So I applied to work in the public engagement office of the governor during the COVID pandemic.
Okay.
And it was crazy. It was crazy. Oh my gosh, it was so crazy because we were some of the only people that were in the building during like in the state capitol. Like obviously, like I'm sure there were other folks, but as far as like in the governor's office, we were like some of the only people that were in the space, and we were all like socially distanced while doing it. But I was on the phone lines, so you can imagine that if you're in a spot of distress and you call the governor's office, things are not going super well, especially in a large sort of scale catastrophe like COVID. Yeah. It was crazy. And although I certainly do not stand by many of the decisions that that the Democratic Party has made as a whole, both at a state and national level, I feel like good about the idea of like serving people, and that always was the thing that made me feel like, okay, like we can keep doing this because like somebody's gonna do that job,
Yeah.
you know. And I would rather it be someone who could like speak Spanish and like.
That's true.
Yeah, you know, like at the very least, or when there were teachers that were calling me who were like, "Oh my gosh, I don't want to go back to school. Like, could you please pass this message along that like I don't want to die from COVID?" Like
Valid.
yeah,
Valid reason.
Super valid. And having a mom as a teacher, I was like, okay, like this is a crazy situation. Like I feel like I can give you a little bit more like extra attention and like an extra level of care that maybe wouldn't be there before. And then, because I did a good job, they offered me a position after I graduated. I graduated a semester early in 2021. And they had me working on the audit for the governor's office, which was very funny given that I am terrible at math.
Same.
So bad at math, but detail-oriented enough to like, you know, to make it happen.
Yeah.
And did well at that. So they, I got hired at the Secretary of State's office. Now this is where it gets interesting.
It was already interesting. Yeah.
Okay. When I was there was somebody who came in and threatened to kill me. I was working at the front desk of this elections office. And, yeah, somebody came in and just like kept threatening. It was the same person. They kept coming in. And yeah, it was super traumatic. And after that, I was like, I'm just not going to do this anymore. So I went to Panama, where my family's, my dad's side is from, and was like hanging out there for a while, and then came back and realigned. But that was a huge wake-up call. I was like, you know, oh my gosh, life is crazy.
Wait, okay, whoa, run it back. No, run it back.
Yeah, I got you.
So, was it a random person, or was it like someone in your life that like, you know, lost it, or?
Random person, somebody who was having like a mental health crisis.
Oh.
They thought that I would be able to like appoint them governor, and they were like, I know, and I can't do that. I was just like, I was a receptionist. That's really what I was. Like, I was a receptionist, and I like, you know, helped do like mundane administrative tasks.
You helped people. You did that.
I help people. Yeah, you know, like helped folks get out their voter registration forms. Helped like, you know, folks get different language voter registration. A lot of it revolved around the voter registration form. Which is cool. And like, there was some good like stories that came of it. Like I got to be the snack man for the governor for a little bit. That was pretty wild.
Wait, Tim Walz?
Tim Walz, the very
You met
same
him?
Many times.
That's so cool.
Yeah. He was a nice guy. I went to his Christmas party once. That was pretty wild. But yeah, no, he was a pretty nice guy, and like overall, like the people that I worked with were lovely. Like very inspirational from the ground up. Like folks that have dedicated their whole lives to positions that folks will never be recognized for, but have made a huge difference in our lives. Like. I think sometimes about like all of the MnDOT workers, like all the people who work overnight when there's like a snowstorm, and all of like the administrators that make all that possible. Because like you have to think like from the ground up, like, you know, you got your workers, but you got, you know, those same folks are like in the office trying to make sure that, you know, all the routes are being taken care of. Like, yeah, we're so deeply interconnected, and that really made me aware of that.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. That sounds like a great job. I'm sorry that it kind of ended that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, like we were talking about, right? Like, and another thing that's maybe sounds cliche, but like the work stuff, the career stuff, it is important, but it's not where we find our greatest satisfaction in life. And music, I think, is one of the places in which, at least for which I do, encounter that satisfaction on a frequent basis. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's awesome. How long were you in Panama, did you say?
I was in Panama for that trip like a little over 2 weeks, so not very long. I mean, it's expensive to do international travel.
Yeah,
but I had another chance to go when I was 8, which was
back in time.
And both of those trips, I think, were like really like, wow, like, oh my gosh, there's a whole side of my family that loves me, that wants to see me for who I am. And yeah, that's sometimes hard to find.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
So like when you got back, what did you do for work, I guess?
I worked for a small nonprofit. Like I was a contracted worker, and helped put on like a block party for them over, actually also in the Rondo neighborhood. Yeah. And then after that, I worked in a coffee roastery.
I've never heard of such a thing. It makes sense. Like I know it, but like I've never a coffee roastery.
It was exhausting. It was like, because it was like working in a factory, and then I was also teaching music lessons at the time.
Wow.
So I would finish up all my work at the factory and then would go teach lessons, and I would smell like coffee beans, and students would be like, "You smell like coffee," and I'm like, "Yeah, I know,
Did you get sick of the smell?
Yeah, almost immediately.
Like, oh no.
Yeah, because it gets stuck on your hair. Like it got stuck in my car. Like everything smelled like coffee. It was brutal.
It sounds like a children's book.
It was very much like a children's book. But yeah, like that was not a sustainable creative practice, right? Like I could not do that for a long period of time.
Yes. Yeah, especially if you didn't like smelling like coffee.
Oh.
It's like hamburgers. I worked at McDonald's. It was my first job. And I was like, I'm going to get to smell like hamburgers every day. I literally said that. And I was like, I don't want to smell like hamburgers anymore. And I was like, this is terrible.
What about the sauce smells? I feel like that was the sauce smells bothered me the most in food service.
It didn't come up. The hamburger smell was so overwhelming that I didn't really smell
There was no room for the sauce smell.
No, man.
Have you eaten at McDonald's since? Like, do you feel like you're able to go back?
But I wasn't for a long time because I was like, and it didn't. The one thing I regret about, there's a lot of things I regret about working at McDonald's because I had my first panic attack there. But that's not what we're talking.
Wait, you have a panic disorder too?
Well, I don't know if I have a panic disorder.
Oh, sorry.
I probably do have a panic. I should go to the doctor.
I have a panic disorder. And I've had one for many, many years. So anytime I hear someone has a panic attack, like I love hearing. I mean, I don't love that you had a panic attack, but I love hearing about I love hearing about the stories because I do think that they do really. It's such a collective human experience, like panic. Oh my gosh!
There's so many layers to you. You're an onion.
I'm an onion.
Or an ogre.
I'm an ogre. Fiona.
What was I saying? I don't remember.
You were talking about McDonald's. You had a panic attack.
I thought there was something else too. But anyway, so yeah, I mean, like I was gonna go on my break, and then they told me I couldn't go on my break, and like I was like, why? Because there was like no reason for, and then I had a panic attack because I was like, okay, so it was like really early in the morning. It was my first morning shift, breakfast shift or whatever, and I was scheduled to go at a certain time. And clocking out, the manager's like, "What are you doing?" I'm just like, "I'm going on my break." Like a little child, I was like 15, and she's like, "You don't go on your break now. You go when I tell you to go on your break." And I was like, "What?" It's like, okay, I'm 15. I'm in high school. I don't get yelled at because I'm a little like quiet ass little girl. I try to get the best grades. And this random lady that I work for, my little manager or whatever, yells at me, and I'm like, and my eyes start twitching, and not like right now, and I start crying, and I can't stop, and I start hyperventilating, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what's going on? You can curse on the show. Oh,
thank goodness.
It doesn't matter how long we've been taping. Like, when I tell people, they're like, oh. like I don't, whatever.
Well, yeah, when you go on Radio K, they make you sign all the different things. Yeah.
I've talked about that too because, oh my God, I'm just like, I can't say shit. And I can't say shit. But anyway.
But this is your show. You can say whatever the hell you want.
That's right. Man, you're great. This is great. But yeah, and I started crying, and then a lady comes back over to me. She's like, what's wrong? And I'm like, I don't know. I can't stop crying. And she's like, I think you're having a panic attack. And I'm just thinking, who the fuck caused it? It was you. You know what I mean? It was weird. It was weird. And then she was nice to me. But then, I don't know. She was nice to me after that because I'm just like, oh, fuck.
That's brutal.
It is.
Know that like panic attacks, some of the most common places to have them is at work.
That makes sense.
So
I've had a lot.
Yeah.
Not too many, but a lot.
Dude, I have them like every other week, to
I'm
be honest
sorry.
with you. Yeah. I just had them since I was a little kid.
Mm.
I think like environmental stresses as a youngster, and then also just like the combination of not only COVID, but my high school exploded.
Oh,
My high school exploded.
How? Just.
Well, I went to Minnehaha.
Oh yeah, where'd you go?
Yeah.
And why did it explode? Wait,
Um,
there's a high school out there?
Yeah, there's a high school, yeah, like right on the River Road.
Is that where it was? Is?
Yeah, it is. It's still, they rebuilt like a good section of it, but yeah,
I'm so sorry.
it's okay. It's
Like,
okay.
Oh my god.
Yeah, 2 people died.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it
Did
was.
you know them?
I did.
Oh.
I did. Yeah, it was really sad. And it was my senior year, so it's like,
Of course it was.
yeah,
You're almost out of there, and then.
yeah. It was a gas leak.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
Weren't they doing regulations? Oh my god.
It was during the summer, so it was like they had contracted like a smaller company
Okay.
to do this work, and they had just been doing the work while slowly filling the whole building with gas.
What?
Yeah. So when it was like during the summer, and yeah, they just like accidentally blew up the school, and it was on CNN, and like it was crazy. It was so bizarre. It was absolutely surreal.
So were you in the school at the time of the explosion?
No, I was working with my friend Izzy, and we were working that construction and landscaping job like in Lakeville, and we saw like the news notification come in, and both of us had gone to Minnehaha since preschool together, and so like we were able to like go and like check it out. Yeah, it was so weird.
Yeah, it's really bizarre.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you're safe. I'm sorry about
Yo,
the
me
people that
too.
passed away.
Yeah, me too. Rest in peace, Ruth Berg and John Carlson. Those were the 2
Yeah.
people who died.
gosh.
But yeah,
Second name kind of sounds familiar. What year was that?
that was that was the summer of 2017.
Okay,
Yeah,
interesting. Oh my gosh, okay. That was my second year in Minnesota, so
because you went to McNally Smith, yeah?
that's true.
I do my research.
It's my line. Gosh, it's Noacality. That's the name of this episode. It's Noacality.
I was thinking about, I think about McNally Smith actually a lot,
Why?
because I think it's a great injustice. I think
It is.
Yeah, it makes me very angry to think about it. And also because some of the finest musicians in the Twin Cities went through some aspect of McNally Smith,
That's true. Yeah. I'm like, thank you. No, I'm kidding.
No, I'm for real. It's a huge endorsement. Whenever someone says, I went to McNally Smith, I'm like, dang, that's the legacy. I saw Corey Wong, I think, went to McNally Smith. Rottweiler, I know, went to
Yeah, he
McNally
did.
Smith. Like,
L.A. Buckner.
L.A. Buckner.
And there are people who like almost went there that I know, and I'm just like, man, you would have been so great up in there. But like they are now too. But like I'm just like, oh my gosh, like I almost met you, and then I met you in a different way.
Absolutely. I think in a lot of ways too, it like represents the larger trend that the United States has been leading on as a whole, and that's just like that the arts are valueless to white supremacist capitalist patriarchy, and obviously it's not valueless to anybody. But like, come on, I'm just saying, like it's absolutely ridiculous. It's absolutely
It is.
ridiculous.
It's really bad.
Yeah.
Like I don't get too political on here, but I have thoughts that I just don't let my, whatever. But
No, I feel you. I feel like honestly, now like every day, everything changes. Everything continues to evolve, and like, everything we do is inherently a little political, right?
that's true. Whether we know it or not, it's all subconscious too. That's why you can accidentally you accidentally offend people because of the way that you are in your ways of how you were raised and all that stuff. So, and like it's like maybe it's an accident, maybe it's not, but like there's a lot of stuff that's just deep rooted in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I'm trying my absolute best right now to be like, maybe there's a difference between, maybe I can separate the folks who do atrocity versus, from, still trying to find some kind of redemptive quality. Like maybe there's something like deeper, like maybe there's something that we all share. But it's hard.
It's really hard.
It's really, really hard.
Especially with where the world is right now.
Yeah.
There's always, every day, there's a new headline.
Yeah.
And it was like that before, but right now it's really, really bad.
Really bad.
Because there's not a lot of like hope going around.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think at least like what I know my role is as a musician, and then like as someone who has been gifted many of the privileges that I have, like I know that I just got to keep making this music and keep creating as much art as I possibly can until I can't anymore, right? And then and doing all the other things that like as a human being I can try to like hope to do. Yeah, we're evolving in real time on this podcast.
It's true. I'm just like, yeah, you know what I mean?
But no, seriously, this is really transformative for me. Like being able to connect with you as another artist is really important in creating that work. And like, like we were talking about collaboration. Like this is a type of collaboration.
I was gonna say that, but I was just like,
great minds, great minds.
Think alike.
That's right.
It's true. Let's get into El Panasueco.
Yeah.
What does that mean? Because like you were telling me it's made up, and no, this is the thing, right? This is the thing. Because I was I was on Google Translate, and it wasn't translating, but then it said like half a life or something. So I was like, well, maybe you're saying that you're young or something.
Ooh, I love that. That's a good theory. I like that.
Thank you.
Well, I love the name Panasueco because I think it gives insight into who I am.
Okay.
I grew up here in Minneapolis, and my last name is Bauer, and I love that last name because it shouts out my biological grandfather who had a little convenience store in North on Glenwood Ave. And back in like the late 60s, I believe it was like in January of 1969, he died in a convenience store robbery.
Oh my God.
I know.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace. So I didn't know him at all, like throughout my whole life. And the rest of my dad's family is all from Panama. So that side of my family was the side of my family that was present really throughout my childhood and my older brother's childhood. And one of the things they always used to call my brother and I, because our mom is Swedish, was Panasueco.
That's funny.
We're Panamanian, and Swedish and Spanish is Sueco. So it's like a combination of the two.
Okay, Google Translate did say it was picking up on some Swedish, and I was like, well, maybe it's a Swedish name, and I was like, I'm just gonna ask her.
Yeah, and honestly, like, all this really came up like after all that stuff happened at the Capitol, because it was really sort of coming to terms with like, how much do you like the state? How much do you like the American experiment? Like, is that something that you know what I mean? Like, is that something that you're like really willing to essentially like put your physical safety on the line for? And the answer was no. The answer was no. And to be able to come to terms with like that part of myself that I loved in myself and that I could identify with more, but while also still acknowledging, my mom's side of the family. My grandmother, my maternal grandmother, took her life when I was 9. But it was that was the reason why I started playing music, was because she had a piano that she passed on to me when she died. So I was able to process through my feelings as a young person, process through my grief using music, and taught myself how to play on the piano on YouTube, because it was like in the middle of the recession. So like things were tough. it felt like there was, only coldness and bleakness. But when I started playing the piano, it was like a chance for space and evolution. Things were always fluid. Like one day you could go back to the piano and it would be totally different. Like the way the keys felt, like everything felt so grounding. Like sitting on a hard bench, where the piano was in my house, like it was like the sun would catch my face during like in the afternoons when I'd be home from school practicing. And so I hold that aspect of myself lovingly, and that's the Sueco part. So we got the pana part, and we got the Sueco part.
That's beautiful. That's really, and I knew it was gonna be a beautiful story because it just sounded beautiful. You know what I'm saying? Oh man, I love that transition of life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like even though she passed away in such a sad way, a tragic way, she was still able to give you something beautiful. You know? Yeah.
And I think too, I've always wanted to hold on to this idea that like art is also transformative for the person creating it too.
Oh yeah.
Like it made me feel so empowered. It made me feel better about my, not just like better about myself, but better about how I related to other people.
Yeah.
Like going to Minnehaha, where it was like a predominantly very white, very wealthy school. Was super alienating, and I'm sure for other people it was even more alienating. But having the ability to all of a sudden play piano and sing in a room now is like, okay,
right?
There's something different. It's just
about
different.
you, and like it's kind of just like you have this like, I don't want to say chip on your shoulder because that's not what it is.
Yeah.
It's like you have this kind of like safety angel on your shoulder or something.
Exactly.
And it's just like, even if I'm different, like now I'm different in a way that I want to be different, not because I was just placed on this earth looking a certain way.
Yes.
Yes.
That is exactly right. It's the sense of agency. I think that was a big part of it.
It's great.
Oh my gosh, I'm feeling so inspired right now.
Me too. Let's fucking
Bring
go.
it out.
Let's fucking go.
Let's go.
No, this is so cool. This is a great conversation right now. So thank you for
thank you.
bringing this here.
Of course.
What's the first show that you got to bring El Panasueco to a stage? How did it feel? What messages were you bringing to the crowd?
I got to play the first real Panasueco show at a community event that I had organized, and it was terrifying because I had to organize the event, and I'm sure you've had to do this so many times. You have to wear multiple hats. They've got you, ordering the, all the permits while you're trying to figure out the arrangement for like a full band. So a little overwhelmed. Yeah. But to see the reaction that folks had, and the way that people were dancing was a big eye opener. Like to get folks dancing in the Midwest is so hard. Oh my
so difficult.
So and to see all my little cousins, to see my aunts and uncles, like there's not a lot of folks like that rep Panama. That's super hard.
True. It's very rare.
It's pretty rare. So having like that, even for our small community, was like really powerful. And also the way that I was able to connect with my fellow bandmates, like for that show in particular, it was myself playing guitar, my friend Caleb, who I was talking about before, playing bass, my childhood friend and roommate Nat playing keys.
Nice.
My godfather Bobby Colbert playing African percussion. Okay. And Rottweiler playing drums.
Really?
So it was like a group of people that I love dearly and have the utmost respect for. I wanted to shout out Ninchai. Do you know Ninchai?
No.
Everybody listening to this podcast needs to check out the artist Ninchai. Ninchai is a bomba artist, which is art form that comes from Afro-Puerto Rican tradition. But they are like a multifaceted talent. So even aside from being an incredible bomba artist, They are an amazing singer. They're an amazing dancer. They were just part of the Ordway's Green Room residency.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, they're amazing. And anytime I get to work with Ninchai is like for real, just an absolute blessing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like we were talking about, collaboration is like one of the best parts of playing music for sure. But I would love to hear your thoughts on this, because one of the reasons I don't play more shows is because I want to make sure all of my musicians are paid.
I get that.
What are some ways, and I don't mean to put you on the spot, but like,
Don't worry about it. That's what the show's all
that's
about.
what it's all about. What are some ways in which, I don't know, maybe we can either problem solve that, which, I mean, that's sort of its own issue, but
Yeah.
like, are there alternative methods that we can utilize? Like, can we barter? Like, I don't
Right.
like what is? Have you encountered any creative ways that folks have overcome the limitations of, like, obviously we all want to make sure our bands are set up nice.
Yeah. Over the years, I have come into that issue, and that's why I don't wait. Hold on. You have to find. I'll say it like this: you have to find people that really want to be a part of your music, because not only does it make the music shine through, it makes hard times less hard, because if they're in it for you, they believe in your project, and they kind of like get to express themselves in that project, then the money isn't like always the forefront, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But also, like, with that being said, like, with you wanting to be able to pay them, and that's like on your heart, you know what I mean? It's finding what is it called? I keep forgetting important words. This happens to me a lot. You have to find the price that works for you and them,
Yeah.
because what I do, I kind of pay them out of my own pocket. So like my day job, and I kind of put it in like a savings account, if you will. So it's like called like that specific band's savings account, so that I don't have to worry when the time comes. So that's something that you can kind of do. Like if they're cool with maybe like $50 to $100, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then that's what you agree on, so that later down the line, when you probably get like 4 gigs in a row, like, you know what I mean? They're not like, man, we should have gotten more for this or whatever. But like also, finding gigs that pay a good lump sum of money, sump.
I like that.
I didn't mean to say that, but it's looking for festivals that pay money too. I know a couple of festivals that pay money. So like, if you talk to me, I can send you those festivals and see like what you can like do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What your band's available for is what I mean. You know what I mean?
Totally.
And like, yeah. So like having that help definitely helps a lot. But also having that foundation of just like saving some money aside for your band, like if you want to pay them.
Yeah. I think that's like such an important conversation that more like folks in bands should be having.
Oh yeah.
And I really do appreciate organizations like Teacup that are like bringing this to like to the forefront of like, you know, bringing organizing to the forefront of like, you know, the music scene over here in the Twin Cities. And just like, I hope that information, the clear, like I totally agree with your process, and I hope that other musicians can benefit from that as well.
Also, I do want to say, people do barter. I know some people barter. I won't give out their information because, you know, that's a behind-the-scenes thing. But, yes, there are things that you can do that aren't just music, obviously. But, so, like, you can shoot a video for someone. You can, or have them shoot a video for you if you're doing something musical for them. You can help them write songs. You can babysit their kids. You know, you can clean their house. I don't know. It's just really, like, what you're comfortable with and what they're okay taking as payment. For sure. And
now that you're, you know, spitting game for free on this podcast,
I'll take $50. No, I'm kidding. But
what were you gonna say? What do you mean?
Ask like, okay. So one of the things I really appreciate about your work is incorporating the video element to it, or incorporating a visual element to it. Like, I think you do brilliantly.
Thank you.
And how do you make time for doing that while also arranging for, you know, for your bands, writing the music? Like, how are you navigating all that?
I'm very organized. I use Google Calendar.
Yeah.
If you tell me something that I have to be at or whatever, it immediately goes in my calendar.
Yep.
It's just, I don't know when I started doing that, but I've always been a pretty organized kid, but I live by my calendar. I'm just like,
Totally.
okay. So I don't get overwhelmed with things like that kind of thing. I do get overwhelmed by things, but because of the calendar, you see, I am able to live.
Yeah, no, for real.
Yeah.
That's how I got here. I put this in my calendar, and then I just
That's right.
showed up.
And yeah. So I was getting overwhelmed with like the filming process, I guess, and like editing's another story. Like I'm still trying to figure that out. But everything is like, so like I'm filming now on Thursdays, and then I have rehearsal on Mondays with my background vocalist. I'm trying to get ready for the game.
Cool.
And then, band rehearsals like on Wednesday. So now I'm getting like really organized, just like weekly, this is what's going to happen.
Wow. Okay, so getting organized in the calendar.
Yeah.
Okay, so that sounds like a helpful tip. What's on the future? What's on the docket for you?
What do you mean? Like,
Yeah, that was
musically or-
entirely a nonsensical statement that I just
No,
made.
it's fine, you know?
Yeah, what are you doing musically? Like, what's coming up on the horizon for you?
I I felt like I was on Hot Ones. You sounded like Sean Evans. I'm sorry. Yeah, isn't he cool? He's from Chicago.
Yeah.
I'm getting married. I know that's not musical, but I'm really excited.
Congratulations. Well, is there going to be music at the wedding?
Yes, I'm gonna have people play there, but there's really gonna be a DJ. But during the ceremony,
You're not going to play at all?
I don't know. I think about it sometimes. Sam and I think about it. Maybe he'll play cajon or something, and I'll sing a song.
That'd be pretty cool.
It'd be cool.
Yeah.
But musically, I'm really excited for these songs that I have coming out. They're the best songs I've ever written. They're really from my heart, and I'm telling the truth that I want to tell. Like with no cursing. The thing is, so like in my show, I can curse however I want because I have a mouth like a trucker. But in my music, I never want to curse because I just feel like there's like a sacred place for me. Like me personally, I'll listen to music that curses, but like for my songs, I just want it to be kind of peaceful, you know?
For real. And like, there was definitely a point when I was like in high school and college where like all my little cousins, started listening to my music, and I wasn't about to be like, blah, 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 blah.
Exactly.
You
That's
know?
so true.
Yeah, like I think our words have power, and I so respect that. The one exception I found in which I feel less awkward to swear in Spanish in music, like
Good shit.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, and it sounds so nice when you sing in Spanish and when you don't sing in Spanish, but like
Muchísimas gracias.
exactly. You're welcome.
Thank you. Yeah. Spanish is a beautiful language.
It is.
And really, I want to give, again, credit to where credit is due. My paternal grandmother, so the one that raised, was very present throughout the raising of my brother and I. She was actually a realtor, one of the first Latina realtors in the U.S.
Let's go.
Yeah, she was the real deal. And she had a real estate office on Lake Street, over right next to the Kmart there on Lake Street.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Kmart.
Kmart. And like the Kmart, like the Kmart of all Kmarts. That's where I got all my like
snacks,
all my snacks, all my shirts. Yeah, it was great. But because of that community that she had curated there, and that's I think another reason why I feel so grateful to the Latino side of my family for really embracing my brother and I. Was like, they didn't need to do that, but like all of these wonderful friends of my grandmother then became like our grandmas too. So like her best friend is a lady named Maru, who's we still text very often. She's like my other grandma. She's from Veracruz, Mexico.
Okay.
And she taught my brother and I Spanish from when we were really little. So the only reason I can even really stay in contact with some of my family members in Latin America, or to be able to sing some of this beautiful music that I adore and have been raised around, is because of Maru. So thank you, Maru.
Shout out.
Shout out.
Is that Maru?
Yeah, Maru. It's a nickname for Maria Gamboa.
Period.
Maria Eugenia Gamboa.
Maria Eugenia what's the last one?
Gamboa.
Gamboa. I was
That's
gonna like not say that. I was like,
Yeah.
let me say it right.
Definitely one of the most important people in my life for sure.
Yay.
Yeah, she's amazing. So if I recall,
Okay.
there's a performance element to this show.
That's true.
What does that Rhodes work?
If I turn on the piano, if I turn on the computer, I think we can figure it out.
Well, even if either way, I'll play on the guitar, I'll play on the Roads, totally.
Multi-instrumentalist people.
That's right. I'll play whatever.
Before we transition over there, are you adopted? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm not adopted. No, I have
Before it was when you were talking about your grandfather, and
Yeah.
you said my biological grandfather. That's why I thought you were adopted.
Yeah.
The paternal and maternal I know, but
Biological, I suppose, would be a misnomer. I say biological grandfather because my abuela did eventually remarry.
Oh, that makes sense.
So I did have a step grandfather.
That's right. And you said stepdad too?
No, I have both my parents. I'm
Okay,
so grateful. They were. I love my parents. They're amazing people. Richard and Rebecca Bauer. Thank you so much.
Richard and Rebecca Bauer.
But so much of my early life really revolved around both, the best parts and the worst parts, I would say, of the generation before. You know, so that's always played a really big role and still does. I talk to my grandma, the one who was a realtor. I talk to her almost every other day. We
That's
call
so
constantly,
sweet.
and she's one of my biggest supporters. And whenever I'm feeling stuff is too heavy, she's the first one to to call me up and be like, What do you mean? What do you mean you're feeling sad? What do you nothing to be sad about? Yeah, she's a very powerful lady, and not one to sit around and be like, oh, they're there.
Wow.
She's very cause she's from a small town in the mountains of Panama, and really grew up in rural Panama, living a very different life than what I was living growing up. So. Yeah, she's got a lot of wisdom, and she's sort of like the second mom to my brother and I. She's always been very, very, very present. So
That's beautiful.
yeah, shout out old people.
Old people is crazy. I had one more. Okay, so I keep saying El Panasueco, but I think that's just your Instagram. It's Panasueco, right?
Yeah, you can do either.
So. But how? Because this isn't L. Isn't that the?
Yeah, so it's I guess it's the reason I put the L in there is because my older brother is also a Panasueco. So there would technically be two Panasuecos.
So that would be. Don't tell me. Damn, I thought there was something supposed to be. I was gonna say dos Panasuecos, but that.
No, that's right.
It's two Panasuecos. I get it. But I think I was thinking of. Nosotros or something
when
like that.
When my brother releases music under the name, which I don't think, I'm not, he hasn't told me that he's going to be releasing, music, salsa rock music, but if he does, then I will change it. He is a very good guitarist, yes.
Good
and
luck,
he has a
Noah.
beautiful voice, so I might need to change. I might need to change
No,
the name,
it's your name.
Yeah, it is right now.
That's not true.
Right
He's
now.
like, well, they called me that too, so.
Exactly.
Is he older, younger?
Older.
Good luck.
Yeah, he's the best. Yeah.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah.
But is there anything that you'd like to end off with before we get you into performance ready?
Oh yes, I would say keep an eye on your Spotify. Keep an eye on your YouTube.
Yeah.
I've been grinding the past couple months. I've recorded so many songs. And I've been personally of the mindset that I want to record a bunch of songs so that I have the energy to promote them. Because for so long I've always been gotta make an EP, gotta promote. But by the time I finish the EP, I'm exhausted. I don't have the energy to promote shit.
That's so real.
Absolutely stuck in just feeling really tired. So I've recorded a bunch of songs. I just finished one last night that was a diss track, excuse me, a diss track to the company Chiquita.
Okay, first of all, you're rapping now.
Not rapping, but I guess a diss track in the sense of like I'm like going in on Chiquita.
And what is Chiquita again?
Chiquita Banana, the classic banana company.
What did they do to you?
They have blood on their hands. Let me tell you. Did you know that Chiquita Banana, before they were Chiquita, they were the United Fruit Company, and the United Fruit Company in the 1900s. They colonized much of Latin America to grow fruit. And in the case of the United Fruit Company, and specifically in Guatemala, they overthrew the democratically elected president, Jacobo Arbenz. And they sent him into exile, and then a huge civil war and genocide occurred, all to keep bananas flowing to the United States. And let me ask you this: Do you ever notice how a bushel of bananas?
I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. Sorry. I know I'm going out there, but trust me, a bushel of bananas, you can get like 12 bananas for like $2.
Yeah.
If you try to buy like a bag of apples that's been grown in Minnesota, how much is it?
Isn't it like $5?
It's
really
considerably
expensive.
more expensive.
Yeah.
And you have to ask, how do they get those bananas so damn cheap?
Yeah. Why?
Because they're underpaying the labor.
That's what I was gonna say. Okay.
Yeah, and in the case of the United Fruit Company back in the day, it was pound for pound, just slavery of the Afro-Indigenous community that was in Guatemala that they had either brought in from the Antillean communities or had brought from the U.S. in some cases. Yeah, it was really messy, and it was another type of slavery for sure. And so much of our it really made me think about that story in particular. Made me think about how we get our food.
I mean, for real. And listen, I keep laughing. It's just the content of it being about fruit, right?
Right.
It's
right,
not the serious. I just can't, because he said, how much you get
bananas from? You wouldn't expect colonialism and bananas to be so intertwined, but
it's just the bananas part. I hear you. I really do hear you.
They're
for
funny.
real.
It's a funny fruit.
But yeah, if you see all the stuff that's going on with it, people getting deported is so evil, and I really hate it. So I'm literally hearing you. It's just when you said bananas and apples and shit, I was like,
no, I know.
But yeah, it's in itself is serious. I just wasn't ready. But
well, no, I mean, bananas, first of all, inherently funny fruit. They look very silly.
They make a lot of jokes.
Everybody knows the other things that they look like. Apples also, and you can't compare apples and oranges.
Yeah.
Everybody's always telling me that. But the way we get our food, and especially the way we get our produce, is deeply intertwined with these structures of colonialism. Yeah. And so many of the mass deportations that we've been seeing are also been targeted towards farm workers here in the United States too. So I'm hoping that song will be a good way for folks to get in touch with their food in a different way, and through music. Who would have thought? So and I eat bananas all the time, so I'm not necessarily saying you can't eat bananas, but just just think about it for a little bit.
Yeah, because if you don't eat bananas, then
potassium and all that.
Well, no, somebody else is gonna eat them.
Somebody else is gonna eat them. They'll go bad.
Yeah, I like that you're going kind of to the source,
Yeah.
But what did you say? The United Fruit Company?
Yeah,
is an insanely hilarious name. That's where you got me at first.
It is a very
they do Chiquita bananas.
The fruit aren't uniting
not now.
No, they but they did change their name to Chiquitas, so I just want to make sure I establish that connection.
That is really important.
They just rebranded, and that's what a lot of these organizations, a lot of these folks will do. And I think, especially when you think about folks like Elon Musk, for example,
I'm scared.
He's just rebranded version of
Tesla. Did he do something?
Well, certainly he's always doing something with Tesla, but I just mean to say he's a rebranded version of, of the white supremacy and of Nazism that came before him. So thanks, Elon.
Okay. So I just want to say, Noah, thank you so much for being on the show. You've been absolutely incredible, and I love all the things that you're about. And you said you were a history major, did you?
That's right. Yeah, I
Because
love history.
it's showing. I'm just like, okay, now what did he say he did? Because this is crazy. Like,
I love history.
It's great, and I think it's a respectable thing to know about. And
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I've got so much respect for you and all the listeners of the show. Thank you so much. I
Thank you.
hope you catch my performance.
Yeah. Make sure you go to the other video. I'm gonna put it somewhere right here, and you gotta go check it out. It's gonna be great. Okay,
Yeah.
I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.
Musicality Mondays, Litty Mondays, Litty Mondays.